you have heard the chemical dihydrogen monoxide. Sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? But believe it or not, 70% of our body is made up of it. Dihydrogen monoxide covers 70% of the world's surface and is in almost everything we eat. Any ideas what it is yet? It's water! Water is the most important resource in the world, and without it, none of you would even be here. But how does all that water get to us? Every time you turn on a faucet, that water has to come from somewhere, right? Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how we turn water from that to this. As I'm sure all of you know, we get a lot of rain here in Portland. Yikes! I know that sometimes all of that rain can be a little bit miserable, but thanks to that rain, we can fill our glasses with pure, delicious water. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering how rain gets into this glass. Well, I'm sure most of you don't go outside with a bucket every time it rains. No, there are better ways to receive our water. A lot of rain falls into a place called the Bull Run watershed. The watershed acts as this sort of giant sponge that soaks up all that rainwater. Much of this water is stored in the Bull Run Lake. Thankfully, we've figured out a way to deliver that water to the city of Portland. You can see that the watershed is pretty far from the city, but luckily, it's all downhill. That's right, with the exception of hills to the west of Portland, our water uses the force of gravity to flow from the watershed to Portland. All the water that's stored in the Bull Run Lake flows down the Bull Run River into another large water storage area called Reservoir 1. This reservoir is held in a place by the cleverly named Dam 1, which, by the way, was actually designed by the same guy who built Hoover Dam. The water then goes to a second reservoir and dam named Reservoir 2 and Dam 2. From here, the water flows further downstream to a place called Headworks and Lusted Hill. From here, it gets treated for any harmful germs and contamination. Unlike most cities, our water is actually not filtered. But don't worry, that's a good thing. Our water is naturally filtered by the Bull Run itself. Once the water leaves the treatment facilities, it is the last time everything is added to purify the water. But don't worry, they continue to check the water on its way down to Portland to make sure it's still safe for you to all drink. The water travels down to Portland through giant pipes called conduits. Think of them as a sort of giant water slide flowing downhill from the watershed to your homes. On the way from the Bull Run, these giant pipes pass through here, the Mount Tabor Park reservoirs. Portland has 5 open drinking water reservoirs, 3 here at Mount Tabor and 2 at Washington Park. Behind me is reservoir number 5. This reservoir holds 49 million gallons of water at a time. So if you add up all the water from all 5 reservoirs, that's 132 million gallons of water. That is a lot of water. These open water reservoirs were built between 1894 and 1911. That means the youngest reservoir is still over 100 years old. It is because of their old age that the decision has been made that these reservoirs need to be replaced. The Environmental Protection Agency and the City of Portland has come to the agreement that having open drinking water reservoirs is not the safest way to store your drinking water. Because of this agreement with the federal government, the city of Portland has been building a huge underground water reservoir called Powell Butte 2 that will be finished by the end of 2013. When Powell Butte 2 is completed, all the water from the Bull Run will go into the underground reservoir instead of Mount Tabor. However, until then, we will keep using the open reservoirs to store Portland's drinking water. The next step is to get the water from the reservoirs to your home.
So where does the water go after the reservoirs? The simple answer is all over the place. Water is used all over the city. Businesses, industries, and homes all need access to fresh, clean water. And how does it get there? Pipes. There are over 2,000 miles of pipes underneath Portland, running under every street in a giant maze. Some of these pipes are brand new, and some of them are 100 years old.
100 years is a very long time, and throughout this time, these pipes can become weak or rusty. The Water Bureau is constantly checking pipes to see if they're dangerous.
Sometimes pipes can break. Since pipes can be underground or under a busy road, it can be very difficult to get to the pipe to repair or replace it. Luckily for us, there are special crews that are trained to repair these breaks. They fix over 200 breaks in Portland each year.
As you already know, Portland's water flows mostly downhill without the use of pumps. On the east side of Portland, the terrain slopes downhill.
However, 15% of Portland is too high to receive water by gravity alone. Thankfully, there's some pretty smart people working for the Water Bureau that have developed a clever solution. Pumps and tanks are carefully calibrated to deliver water uphill at just the right pressure. In West Portland, there are many more pumps and tanks than the rest of the city, which means that water delivery can get pretty complicated.
Once the water has come all the way from Bull Run watershed through all those pipes and reservoirs, it finally reaches your home through a big pipe in your street. Once it reaches your house, it attaches to a special device on the outside of your home called the water meter.
The water meter keeps track of how much water your home is using. From here, water flows through a 1-inch diameter pipe throughout many places. Your bath, your shower, your toilet, your water heater, and your faucet. We've seen the entire journey of our water, all the way from the Bull Run Reservoir to your home. It's a long journey, but Portland has some of the most purest, cleanest, best tasting water in the world by bringing us that water from the forest to the faucet.